Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Sports Show.
Take it away from him. Under 4 left, the barn is alive again.
Got me in my hormones, all gas, no brakes, score 4-4. If you think you
At
want this
Sports
place,
Show
you get
Podcast
more
right
clothes.
here
I've
on the
been in my head, but
CJSW
it's not about
90.9 on the
T3. I'm
FM
but
dial
there's nothing you can
this
do.
week. I'm off to a hot start. Listen,
Oh,
for all of you listening right now, you're on 90.9 FM, or you're on Podbean, or you're on Spotify. That's where you get us week to week. Or you're on YouTube or Instagram. We got to do a couple, 3 things. For all of you that haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. You can get the weekly content, get all the fun bits at Sports Show Podcast. But listen very closely. There's a couple imposters. There's some people that want to be us, but they can't be us.
Never.
But they just want to be like us. You look for a blue and white logo. How do you remember it? We're Greek. Look for the Greeks. Greeks blue and white flag, blue and white logo. It's smart. We did it. And if you're on the YouTube, you would notice that right now to start this intro, I completely spilt my coffee
right
all over me.
All over yourself.
But we still recovered. Now, the Sports Show has gone through a great milestone.
Yes.
Actually,
What?
The Sports Show has gone through a lot of great milestones.
What are we talking about?
We're at episode 351. That in itself is an achievement. That not
Fantastic.
only we can stay friends for so long,
Right.
But it's no surprise. Mitch and I are the talkers in the group. That makes sense.
Right.
We've gone through COVID and stayed.
Absolutely.
We were just a podcast before we got on the great CJSW radio station.
Exciting.
But then we have a friend of ours. We got a friend of ours a friend of the show who if you're going to subscribe, if you were ever going to subscribe to the YouTube channel, if you were ever going to subscribe to our Instagram and all the things that follow us, if you were ever going to do it and you said, Mitch, Dimitri, I don't want to do it for you. That's fine.
That's right.
But why don't you do it for Amy?
That's right.
Because she's entering the next stage of her life. We want to say congratulations to Amy. We call her the good Amy. It's an inside joke around here.
Right.
Who just got recently engaged to the Dan Farah.
Yes.
He did it. He finally pulled the trigger, but Amy does all our social medias. She's the genius behind the scenes. And a lot of you over the years that have listened to us have come to know we reference her all the time. Even in the videos, you got all the info if you ever want to see if she could pick up some work. But she got engaged. So from the Sports Show, from Mitch, from Dimitri, from everyone on the roster, we want to wish you a congratulations.
Absolutely. Congratulations to both of you. Health and happiness. Exciting times. What's even more exciting? Well, maybe not as exciting. It's a sports show this week. CGSW 90.9. That's what you're listening to. Dimitri, we're here on a Saturday morning.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Can I say one
go
thing
ahead,
before you
go
go?
ahead,
Just
go
one
ahead.
thing.
Okay, say it.
All I'm saying is after last week's show,
Right.
I think the Dan Fair got a little bit of motivation.
You got some motivation. That's
knows
true.
it.
That's a good point.
Everyone knows what we're talking about.
I find it a little ironic that the ring was popped right after that clip.
I find it strange that after that episode and clip, anyways.
Where'd I put that?
Iris, I told you, those boys are trouble. Well, you got to put a ring on it.
There it is.
No, it's good. Go ahead.
It's okay. We're sitting here on a Saturday. We only have a half an hour, unfortunately. We're trying to get that hour show, but so many great shows here on the CJSW. We can only get a half an hour. This is where we're at. So here we go.
You're trying to bait me.
I'm trying to do it. I'm trying.
Fine. I've never done it on the CJSW show. He's trying to bait my Donald Trump.
It's so good. I'm telling you guys,
They
it's
want
worth
the
it.
sports show. They said it's the greatest show. They wanted a show. It's a good show. They wanted the show. I said they can't have it. We wanted an hour, but they only give us 30. I said we're going to tariff the CJSW because we need to make the station great again.
I love it. Beautifully done. As I alluded to, we're here on a Saturday morning. This is going to be, you're going to listen to this on the Tuesday. So what's happened?
Yeah.
Listen, because it's the CJSW show, we're heavy on the hockey. We're going to go right into it. Normally I do a little perusing. Unfortunately today, maybe at the very end, if I got a little time, I'll throw in what I perused and found this week on the internets, which I know you guys all have grown to love. However, with that being said, let's jump right into it. In the East, there's only 3 or 4 games, depending which team you kind of cheer for, remaining to figure out where they stand in the NHL playoff race, which starts next Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty much determined. And a lot more Canadian teams are in this year's Stanley Cup final than ever before. Super excited. The Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators have basically solidified their seats. They're in. The East is now solidified. It's ready to go. It's just a matter of where's everyone going to sit at the table. Okay? We go off to the
That's
west.
exciting in itself.
Oh, absolutely. That's the best part.
I
Really.
mean, heaven forbid. Sorry, Toronto. We got to take a little bit of press off you for a little bit.
For a minute.
For a minute.
For
Just
1 second.
relax. It doesn't mean anything.
In Toronto right now, if you want to talk about something really quick, they are trying to hold on to the head of that table so bad. Because if they end up coming second or third, depending in the Atlantic, they would have to take on either Florida, which they don't want. That's been their arch nemesis, and a Tampa Bay, also their arch nemesis.
Do you want anybody, though?
But if you're Toronto, you're going to get most likely Ottawa. And that also is kind of bad. But I guess I'd rather have Ottawa because I don't know any better.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
You know what I mean? Mentally, I'm not ready for those two guys. Those guys have beaten me in the past.
Here's how I see it.
Tampa Bay
Here's how I
year,
see it. Toronto doesn't care.
Yeah.
Boston's not there.
Also a great point.
Right. So that whole thing about maybe.
What happened to Boston?
Oh.
How did they go from being one of the best teams of all time, regular season, to being last in the East?
Boston Bruins, more like Boston ruins.
Clip that.
Clip that, Amy.
We're off to the West. In the West, there is a race going on, and it's for the very last two seats at the table. The St. Louis Blues went on a heater of heaters going, hey, forget you guys. We're going to win 12 in a row. You think to yourself, okay, they're really ahead of the game. Minnesota was the one that they kind of leapfrogged. All of a sudden, Minnesota leapfrogged them. It's crazy. But there's one team left. One team from the YYC. It's Calgary. They just won't go away. Here's a team that many analysts decided and said, they're going to suck this year. They're not going to be good. Expect a top 10 lottery pick. We ain't getting that lottery pick right now. Not for that reason anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, our Calgary Flames are technically at this moment, Saturday, 3 points behind. Big game tomorrow against San Jose in Calgary. So by the time you listen to this, they'll either be still 3 points back and maybe, let's be honest, out of the playoff race. We need a little help. You need a little St. Louis to lose. You need a little Minnesota to lose. And then all of a sudden, we have a game in hand. We leapfrog. They lose. We jump. We get in. Could this happen, Dimitri? Are the Calgary Flames going to make... Is the Red Mile opening in a couple of weeks?
Listen, I don't know why we always have to go through this with Calgary. It's either they're in, like they're really in, or this happens all the time. Comes down to the wire, and it's, I'm sure there's other teams that do it, and you got the little bit of the home bias because we got a little more skin in the game. We got some passion on it.
Right.
However, I can't help but think that Calgary to make the playoffs, since I've been a Calgary fan, has to come down to the wire. But would you want it any other way? I was talking to the CD yesterday. He's going to the game.
Of course.
Of course he is.
Standard.
And so I said to him, I'm like, yeah, I bet you and your buddies were divvying up the season tickets this year. You're like, yeah, Joe's got Minnesota in the last 3 games. Yeah, take that one, right?
So true.
Everyone's laughing. Now all of a sudden, Minnesota's the hot ticket.
On a Friday night?
On a Friday night? Come on.
Honey,
right?
get the babysitter. We're going out.
Well, and what's crazy about that game with Minnesota is that you needed to win in regulation. Like, this is where we were talking about it. And he goes, you got to pull the goalie in regulation because you can't expense the point to the other team.
That's right.
That you got to think about these things. You got
a lot of things to think about.
A lot of things. But I love it. Look, it's going to be hard because they, in my estimation, St. Louis, Minnesota, then Calgary, that's kind of where they rank for me.
Right.
But they can do it. It's not dead in the water, but it is going to be very difficult. Now, as Calgary fans, CJSW, 90.9 FM, we're local, University of Calgary radio station.
90.9 you said?
90.9.
90.9.
90.9.
Got it.
2 nines. Okay? Remember that. It's on your dial.
2 nines. Equal Gretzky.
2 nines. Right. So, the thing is if the Flames don't make the playoffs, because any team that makes the playoffs is fantastic. You love it. If they don't make the playoffs, where do you chalk the season, Mitch?
That's the big topic of the week around Calgary for sure. If you're around the water cooler or, hey, at Mama Daycare. I know a little thing about that lately. Anywho's, that's the big talk because a lot of people were accepting the fact that they weren't going to be in the top, that they were going to be a loser this year or should have been, quote unquote. And now all of a sudden they're literally they're the 16th team out of 32 that's not going to make the playoffs if they don't make it.
Right.
So you go from maybe a really good draft pick to a mediocre one, which we've been doing for years and years and years, and that's what's flustering everyone. Our friends to the north, I mean, there was a time they had 5 first-round picks. 5. Yeah. And out of one of those, they hit. You could say, what was Nails Napov?
Oh, no, Yakupov.
Yakupov, thank you. Napopov. I don't know where I got that from. But you had the Yakupov.
You and names, it's a thing.
It's a thing on the show.
It's a thing.
So you got the Yakupov. That one didn't work out. But this other guy worked out pretty good. Connor McDavid. Yeah. So why can't Calgary have that? And that's really what a lot of people are going, why couldn't you guys just do the easy thing? You weren't ready this year, but they were. But here's my worry. Yeah. When you get that expectation next year now, we're expecting the stadium. I mean, there's a big hole in the middle of Calgary downtown. Why? Because the new stadium's going there and it'll be ready for 2027. A lot of people thought, get the draft picks. By 2027, we'll be more in a contendership role and we move into the new digs. Everyone's nice. The worry is now we might have knocked ourselves out of the timeline that we had set out for this.
Yeah, but this is where I got to defend the organization a little bit because I'm sorry, Calgary fan. Like, what do we want? Because when we try to go for that and then we're not doing well, I mean, we hammer the team. Yeah. And when I think about the last time that really, really happened, we almost moved.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? So here we are, asking everyone to be relevant but not be irrelevant. And as Calgary fans, we don't even give the team or the organization the patience that they want if they did want to do a rebuild.
But Dimitri, you're married. I'm married. Yeah. Doesn't this just feel like you're at home?
Happily.
Honey, did you clean the garage? Yeah. Oh, well, why didn't you clean the basement too? You're like, but you said the garage.
But you said, but I, okay.
This is the problem the Calgary's got.
Listen, we're half in, we're half out. I get it. Were you in my house this week?
Were you in my house this week?
Did you sweep the floor? Yeah, I swept the floor. Well, you call that sweeping the floor? Well, look, I don't know what you want.
Well, the floor looks okay. Those windows don't look that great. Look, you're right. Which one is it? What do we want?
I don't know. I'm trying over here.
Listen, can I just say something? I'm watching the game yesterday with huge anticipation. I'm excited and all that stuff. And hey, Calgary, you did it again. This has become an ongoing joke that keeps going. The standing ovation for the Marc-Andre. Rightfully so on one end.
Okay, hold on. That's different.
But it is different, but still, we do it. And I'm proud that we don't stop anywhere. We're going to do it for everybody. Everybody gets a turn at the standing ovation.
I'm still, listen. I am still so upset at this standing ovation stuff.
Right.
Okay? The fact remains is that we give standing ovations for people that left that didn't win anything when they were here.
I know.
Listen, you want to give a standing ovation to a Ginla? That's fine.
Of course.
You want to give a standing ovation to a Giordano? I get it.
Always.
Okay? But we've talked about this. The Tanev, the Mangiapane, the people, the Kachuk.
Pardon?
First of all, no. The answer is no. Fine.
He broke up with us. We didn't break up with him.
We didn't want any of this. No. Enough.
You're not excited that he won a cup?
Yeah, like
for somebody else.
We don't always have to be a respectful fan. Can't people come into our barn? Can't people come into the Saddle Zone and be like, everyone keep your mouth shut, don't make eye contact with the crowd. It's a volatile place. This is the fear.
No, people are excited. They're like, dude, I might be up for a standing tonight.
What do you think? You think I got a shot here?
I had a goal last night.
I mean, sure, I didn't play, but I was drafted. I mean, it's crazy to me.
Video tribute, you say?
I told you, we got into this argument at work with the Tanev. I couldn't believe it. I go, what did Tanev do here?
Hey.
He blocked shots. Yeah, to leave to do it in Dallas and Toronto.
That's it. That's all I say.
Guys, what are we talking about here? And when he was here, I argue this, and so the Flames actually did better.
Right.
This last season.
Than they did the year before?
Yeah, they did the year before.
Absolutely correct.
So I'm sorry.
All of the above.
He was there. I can't do it. If you win a cup here, fine.
My dad has a saying, numbers don't lie.
Numbers
it's
don't
true.
lie. Mitch.
But you know what number was huge this week? And here's a little tidbit into the perusing of the net. Ladies and gentlemen, if you might be a big hockey fan and you're listening to the sports show here on CJSW, or you're not, but you did see something. Alex Ovechkin. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking the record, all-time record. 894 goals was the record set by the great one, Wayne Gretzky. 895 was set last week by the man they call Alex Ovechkin. Ladies and gentlemen, What a great thing to kind of witness and cool. Dimitri called it from like a year and a bit ago.
No.
I totally didn't think he was going to do it.
Time out.
What?
Time out. I can say it.
You could say it.
The Bata was there.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
The Captain Morph was there.
Sure.
The PZ was there.
Okay.
And it was almost 10 years ago.
All right.
We had this debate.
10 years ago.
I'm not joking.
10 years.
10 years. And I pulled out the calculator. Okay. Like I was trying to calculate the tip on the early bird special.
That's exactly why you probably actually
That's
did
usually
pull out
why
the
I do
calendar.
it.
Yeah,
People that know me, that really know me. And I said, at that point, they're like, guys, the record can't be broken. And I go, what are you guys talking about? I'm like, all he has to do.
Right.
Go, we're talking about a 50-goal scorer right now.
Right.
All he has to do is the longevity to pop 35 average goals a season.
Yeah.
Up until he's about 38 years old at the time.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, yeah, but I don't think he's going to do it. I go, he is. If you're just tuning into the sports show, you are listening to that, the sports show, right here on the CJSW 90.9 FM. Podbean and Spotify and CJSW.com if you missed the first 15 minutes. But we're talking hockey. We're talking Ovechkin. Listen, the fact of the matter is this is one of the greatest monumental achievements in sports, my opinion. Mitch, what do you say to that?
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that I didn't think any of Gretzky's records were going to be broken. Going back to what I was kind of saying, last year at this time, we were talking about it, and I'm like, you know what? It's just too many goals in today's NHL for a guy like Ovi who's getting longer in the tooth to get it. But man, did he prove not just me wrong, and I'm happy he did. Everybody. The guy broke his leg earlier this season, if you haven't been following it. He came back and still got, and then throw on the pressure. So Gretzky's been on the tour with the Washington Capitals because he goes, you know what? Gordie Howe followed me around when I broke his record. He shook my hand like a gentleman. I'm going to do the same for the guy that's going to break mine. And Wayne Gretzky traveled around with Ovi and the Washington Capitals, who also happen to be the number one team, or at least one day they're the number one team, the next day they're not, but then they're in the top two teams in the NHL. So they're following him around. He's got his wife with him too. He's doing the tour. He ends up breaking it on a Sunday afternoon. Beautiful goal.
My birthday.
On the birthday. Here's another thing. April 6th is Dimitri's birthday. He breaks the record. He was 20-something years ago. The day of April the 6th was the day the Washington Capitals realized they were going to get him. They won the number one draft pick. And then he ends up scoring the winning goal, guys, with that much time left. Like, meaning he scored in that many games. He had that many games. He scored the goals. It was unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, Ovi for president.
Basically, you have me to thank.
Yeah, kind of.
In
a weird way.
Here's what I like about the record being broken. You know, sports is amazing,
right,
in general, for the debatesmanship of it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a word, but I'm using it.
It's a good word.
It's a great word.
Great word.
It's a good word. It's a great
word.
word. Some say it's the best word.
You're doing it.
But doing it. So the thing that I love is there's always a talking point, right?
Yeah.
Jordan, LeBron, Gretzky, Lemieux. What else do we want to do, right? Like anybody, okay?
Right.
Ali and Mayweather, I don't know. Here's the thing. What I like about this is it's pretty clear cut and dry, if you ask me. It's pretty clear cut and dry, if you ask me. Because from just the goal perspective, he did it actually in a game less. All the other statistics, you guys, is actually out of control here. If you look at the power play goals, they went through the breakdown. We're talking very evenly matched.
It's a little creepy.
Now, the one side, all you Gretzky supporters, you're going to say this. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, listen, the fact of the matter is Gretzky also passed the puck a couple thousand times. So you add those into maybe who's a little more selfish.
Right.
You know, he would be an incredible goal scorer. Well, the counter to that is fine, but he was also scoring on people that basically had wrapped hand towels for blockers.
That's true.
So Ovechkin, like, you guys, let's call it right now.
He's got a point.
I can't think the record-breaking goal. First of all, he put everything into that wrist shot.
Oh, buddy.
Okay. But I would argue, like, you tell me how many less goals Gretzky would have to try to put it across even Sorokin.
Right.
With all of those pads and the way the game is changed, all that stuff. So
yeah.
To me, what I love about it is it's not much of a debate. He is the greatest goal scorer to ever step on the ice. And if Ovechkin went back in time and had the same variables,
right,
not only would he break that record earlier, he would have just gone right through it. Here's the other thing I like about it. Remember one thing, to Ovi's point. There was a lockout.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
There was COVID. there was
Injuries.
missed games during the prime of his career where if you look, he's 40, however old he is right now, okay? However old he is. And he's still scoring 40 goals now. The time that he missed, he was popping the 50, 60.
Right.
You guys, the only tragedy in Ovechkin's career of breaking this record is that he should be over 1,000 where we're talking today.
Well, if the way he's going, why not? Hey, that's the next milestone. If I'm a kind of guy I like round numbers, and if he's gonna stop it right now at 895, that's a nice number. Finish at 900, 950, 1,000, that'd be amazing.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. And it's, you know what? I'll never deny you or doubt you again, Mr. Ovechkin, ever again. With that being said, real quick, it's the Sports Show Power Ranking, brought to you by Sinatra's. This is a power ranking we do each and every week, but it's based on a curve. Yeah. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
At number 5, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Edmonton Oilers. Holding steady at number 3 in the Pacific. Right now, they're not great. They're not. You know what, Edmonton? You're about to probably take on LA for the 4th, 5th time, whatever it is, in the first round of the playoffs. McDavid's been hurt. Draisaitl's been hurt. People aren't talking about you the way they were talking about you at the beginning of the season. I'm curious, but I'm still going to hold you at number 5. Because there's a lot of Edmonton fans, and we're on CJSW today, and I want them to like us.
That's right.
That's it.
We do.
At number 4, it's the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators. Congratulations on making it into the playoffs. That's 3 Canadian teams, Dimitri. Boom.
That's amazing. If they merge, they'd be La Canadian capital.
That'd be, that's right. And
It's
some would
amazing.
say that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
At number 3, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. Holding steady at number 1 in the Atlantic right now. Who knows what'll happen? Who knows? At number 2, it's the number 1 team in the NHL from start to finish. We're about to finish it off in a couple of games. It's the Winnipeg Jets. No respect. Find out next week where I put them. And Dimitri puts his team for who's going to win the Stanley Cup. We've been pretty good the last few years. We might even have to call Johnny Hockey back.
Yeah.
Who
we
knows?
might have to do it.
And if we do, watch out. And at number 1, listen, they're up against the wall. You don't put baby in the corner. It's the Calgary Flames at number 1 this week on the Sports Show Power Ranking. Why? Because when the going gets hard, they're winning games against Minnesota. Well done, and standing ovation, everybody and anybody that shows up at the Saddle Dome. That's a good host.
Listen, the flame might not be red hot, but the pilot is still on, and I get it. But listen, that's the power ranking, okay?
it.
We talk about the top. Sinatra's is the home of the flop, and we can't have a power ranking without the top bings on the flop without talking about the flop of the week. Now, I was thinking about this because I had a flop of the week, and then I changed it last minute. Why? Because when we're recording, this is really the last week in hockey. By the time we do our next episode, the playoff picture will be set.
Right.
So not only am I giving the flop of the week, I'm actually giving you the team that has taken the flop of the regular season year. What? And that flop goes to a team that I've mentioned a couple times, a player that I've mentioned a couple times, and it's the Chicago Blackhawks. Because let me tell you something, gentlemen and ladies, honey, sugar babies, I got to tell you right now, this is the flop of flops. You got your hopeful. You're like, well, they got one Connor over there. We'll get our Connor over here, and everything's going to work out, and they're going to be great. Now you got a situation.
Right.
Now you got a predicament. Now you really got to figure out what you need to do because you are in trouble as a franchise. And then when you start looking at your competitors, okay, listen, I got my eye on the San Jose Sharks because there's a guy in Celebrini that I'm loving.
Yeah, he's good.
I'm loving what's
real
going on
good.
over there. I mean, there's a little Lane Hutson going on over in Montreal.
He's going to win it.
He's going to win it. But they're in the playoffs. I'm loving what's going on there. But you guys are in turmoil. That
Right.
franchise is in trouble. You need to figure out what to do, and you got to figure it out fast.
Boom. You know what's even faster than that? Rapid Banter. Dimitri, more impressive, the Ovi record or LeBron breaking the scoring record in the NBA?
Ovechkin's record. By the way, but it's funny you bring that up.
Okay.
Bring up PK Subban.
I know. I watched it live.
And Shannon
on
Sharp.
Great. It was great.
Subban's a great ambassador
Next
for
week, we'll talk
hockey.
about it more. I wanted to talk about it, but we don't have all the time in the world
don't got
today because they only give us half an
time.
hour. What can
That's
we
it.
do? Budweiser Zero did some great marketing this week, and they sent goalies that didn't let any goals in by Ovechkin a whole case of beer, Bud Zero. Great move, bad move.
I think you deserve more.
And they're non-alcoholic, so I don't know. So did you really win or not? I don't know. You can only keep 3 of these, Dimitri. The Masters, the Stanley Cup, the Final Four in basketball, World Series, the Super Bowl, the National Championship for football, the NBA Finals, or the Kentucky Derby. You can only keep 3.
Okay, listen. Did you put World Cup in there?
I did not.
Okay.
But I'm not going to. I only gave you the list of the ones I want. That's it.
Well, it's easy. It is Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
It's NHL playoffs.
Boom.
It should be the World Cup.
Okay. But it's not.
But it's not.
It's not.
Outside of that, it's got to be championship darts. I know it's not in the list, but I got to go with my heart.
Good enough answer for me. Boom. Last one. The Dallas Mavericks took on the Lakers this week. Everyone knows, and like I said, you don't have to be the biggest sports fan. It was all over your internet a little while ago. Doncic was crying on the bench. He's the guy that got traded from the Mavericks to the Lakers. Dimitri, send him back, or it was just a little dusty in here.
Doesn't he wish he played for Calgary?
That's true.
Think of the ovation Luka Doncic gets in Calgary.
There we go. No. All right, we do this final segment. It's called Pass or Fail because we're here at CJSW 90.9 at the University of Calgary, so we thought it was fitting. It's called something else on the regular show, but during the week it's called Pass or Fail.
Keep it clean.
Here we go. It's Pass or Fail. It's Ovechkin's presents. So because he broke the record, he got a lot of presents. These are actual presents that were given to Ovechkin.
Oh, okay.
And it got kind of viral because Gretzky was caught on camera going, "Hey, Ovi, just so you know, when I won it, they gave me a Rolls Royce."
Okay,
and then Ted Leonis, Greek, looked into it and he's like, "Yeah, for sure. we'll look into that for you."
Listen, we're allowed to speak on this because we're Greek.
That's right.
I can tell you right now, there's no Rolls Royce coming.
He didn't get one.
And for all the
it's
Greeks,
not on the list.
There's the art of the prosvali right there, like that, like what Gretzky did. He's like, what are you talking about?
Here we go. Pass or fail.
Greeks working for Greeks, you don't even get overtime or long weekend pay. You think you're going to get a Rolls Royce?
Resumes to restaurants all around Calgary, non-existent anymore. Here we go. His wife got a Cartier watch and he got a Rolex. Pass or fail?
Yeah, that's fail. You got to go matching Rolexes. And by the way,
I was going to say,
listen, because the Rolex has an in-house made mechanical movement, the Cartier we still know is not. So it's luxury, but it's a little bit of a cop-out.
Golden sticks, like mini sticks, were given to his kids and to him. He got the longer stick, and his kids got 2 golden little mini sticks. Pass or fail?
That's a pass. But,
yeah,
it's got to be minimum 18 karat gold. Because if you're doing any of that rhodium or whatever, palladium, whatever that is, on the 10 karat, that's not fair. That's not fair.
So each seat in the Washington Stadium, when they kind of, after he scored in Long Island, but then the next night they were in Washington, every seat had a greatness towel and the number 895 on it. So he got that along with the people of the
yeah, Maga, you kind of want the same thing.
I mean,
that
how
the
much
other
swag do
people
you guys want? He's getting you a towel.
Is there ever enough swag?
No.
You love the swag.
Love the swag. I'm a swag guy.
Yeah, pass on the swag.
What about a sculpture? They made a sculpture of him.
No one has ever fail. Sorry, no one has ever. See, I'm crossing.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
No one has ever. No one's ever gotten the statue right.
No, it's true. It's horrible. They're all bad. I'm sorry. Whoever you are, statue person maker guy, no, can't do it anymore.
And you know what I can't understand about the bronze statue? You look at all these other statues, like in ancient Rome and Greece and all of it. They get it right.
They do. They did great. And they don't have the talents that we have now and the machinery.
When we make it big, I don't want a bronze statue. Give me the 3D print of Mitch and Dimitri.
That'd be nice.
Get it right.
Well, here's one. Commissioned painting from the NHL.
Yeah, MAGA.
Now, the commissioned painting, I just want him to, I need him like in some sort of like old school Renaissance kind of, picture. Like I want him standing in the room. They're like, I know it's a lot of work for you, Ovi, but we need you standing and like having a gesture, having your arm in the air.
Yeah, that's a pass.
That's a pass.
You know what they should do is like those like almost like Step Brothers where they're in the cardigans.
That's right.
Behind each other. Should have like Gretzky sitting in the seat and Ovi with
that's
his
right.
hands.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be nice.
Second last one. Sorokin, the goalie that was scored on, fellow Russian by the way, gave him his goalie stick. Pass or fail?
Fail. Sorokin, you keep the goalie stick. You got to see something out of this.
But you're a fellow Russian. Bottle of vodka and say whatever you say in Russian. You gave him your goalie stick? Your goalie stick.
You were rushing on that one.
Last one. So the Washington Capitals decided, hey, He scored away. We're having a presentation for him here at home. And why not during practice bring 895 kindergarten people to the class, to the stadium?
Fail.
Pass.
Fail. You guys.
895 kids, Ovi. Here's your present.
Yeah. That's what he needs, right?
That's what he wants.
Try 8.95
Why do you
million.
think he hasn't retired yet? He doesn't want to go home.
Yeah. What he wants is $8.95 million called in a bonus check. Because if you're not going to give him the Rolls Royce, you might as well give him some of that. Look, what we like giving to you every week is the sports show. Right here, especially on the CJSW 90.9 FM. And we're truly grateful to be part of this radio station here. Of course, if you want the week-to-week content, it's very easy. All you got to do is subscribe to the channels. That channel is at Sports Show Podcast on the YouTube, on the Instagram, Spotify, Podbean, where you're streaming your podcasts. But until then, we appreciate you. Episode 351, it's one for the books. We got to shove it in the locker. We do got to hit the showers.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.
W, we're saved by the bell by the Sports Show, playing every week. Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Sports Show TV, at Sports Show Podcast. Amy, do it. At Sports Show Podcast. Amy can do anything.
She's the best.